Welcome to the Twinkl Talks EYFS podcast. Working in the early years is busy, funny, messy, and exhausting. Join me, Shana, some of the Twinkl EYFS team, special guest speakers, and other early years practitioners as we talk honestly about our experiences. Whether you're listening for CPD, on your commute, or to help you relax, Twinkl EYFS will share everything you need to know about all things early years.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Twinkl Talks EYFS, and this time with a fun little Christmas theme. My name's Katie.
And I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Georgia.
And this week, the fun Christmas theme is looking at your normal private early years problems, but they all have a Christmas twist. The first Christmas related question that we're looking at this week is, I find it so challenging planning 3 weeks of Christmas activities. How do you stay inspired with fresh and exciting ideas? And I relate to this one so much, especially with any event or topic like autumn and winter and summer and spring as topics. So difficult because they're so long-winded and you feel like you're looking at them forever. So how do you guys keep coming up with fresh, fun ideas?
I was going to say I relate to this because you get a bit Christmased out, don't you? Because you start quite early because you've got all the children to you want them all to take part, and you've got loads of different activities going on, and some children finish a bit earlier for Christmas and some are right there up until the end. So you have to sort of work around the children, and yeah, you get a bit Christmased out. And I'm trying to think of what we used to do as to keep it fun.
I feel like by the time Christmas arrives, I have probably done every single possible activity you can do involving a Christmas bauble every year. I don't think you can come up with any new ones because I have personally done them all throughout my years of working in nurseries.
I think as well, 3 weeks is a long time, and it is so fun to get involved in loads of Christmas activities, and I totally relate to this as well because I feel like you kind of put pressure on yourselves as well. So maybe try. It
always has to be fresh, exciting, doesn't it?
Fresh, exciting,
can't repeat.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. And the children taking home perfect crafts and things like that, where maybe try and strip it back and just focus on having a bit of fun with the children. But in terms of finding exciting and fresh ideas, obviously you can have a look online, Pinterest, Twinkl, lots of places for fun ideas online these days.
Yeah, I do agree. The best thing I think for inspiration is using your online communities, and they can be on Facebook groups, blogs. Pinterest is probably one of the best sources. If you just keep searching for Christmas in baby room, the same old ideas will continue to come up. So you have to sort of be a little bit clever with it as well. So then you need to start searching for Christmas activity tray ideas or Christmas baby maths ideas or Christmas leaf ideas. You have to be creative with what you're searching to ensure new ideas will keep coming up, because the internet is boundless and we do have AI and things now. You can literally go into ChatGPT or whatever your AI of choice is, be specific and just say, I am a baby room practitioner working with X amount of children. Here are the resources I have available. Give me a list of 10 to 15 ideas of what we can do. That's 2 weeks of planning sorted. You know what I mean? They're online is a haven for ideas now. We don't even need to be that creative anymore.
Yeah, and I think if you follow a lot of other nurseries and earlier settings as well, you might get inspiration from what they're doing, because a lot of nurseries now post their activities online, and you can see, sometimes you can look at, they might post something in their toddler room and you were like, oh, I work in toddler room, that's a really nice idea, I could sort of recreate that. But it's hard, isn't it? Because sometimes you don't always have a lot of resources and money's a bit tight, and you have to think outside the box to be able to carry out some of the activities that you want to do, because it goes on for such a long period. You've got to kind of budget for it as well and be like, right, what can we afford to buy for the Christmas period, and what can we do that's a bit cheaper? But like you two said, social media and Pinterest is your best friend.
We can also, and I think we forget this, we do think it needs to be constantly fresh ideas, but take ideas that have worked throughout the year and make them Christmas themed. So it's a really random example, and I don't know why this one's popped into my head, but I remember doing an activity with some toddlers, I believe it was, where all we did was we got some dinosaurs, we put them in some paint, and we stamped their footprints across a piece of paper. They went wild and they had a wonderful time. Actually, how can I make that Christmassy? I could use red and green paint. Like, that's the most basic way to make that Christmassy. But then we can look at doing different patterns, or like if you give them the shape of a Christmas tree, can they follow that pattern kind of thing? So there are ways to take things that you've already done and just repurpose them. Like we put so much pressure on ourselves to be so new all the time, but genuinely there are only so many ideas in the world. So there is only so much.
We've also seen a comment on social media that says, my least favourite part of Christmas every year is making all the gifts and cards for the children to take home. It's so challenging to organise and it feels a little bit over the top. What are your thoughts?
I feel like this one could have come from me. Not to like hard relate to another question around Christmas and early years, but I used to find it so stressful and overwhelming trying to make sure that every child had like a gift that they took home for their parents, a Christmas card, a box of reindeer food that they were making, and whatever else it was, like usually like a calendar and then like a bauble. And I just thought, some of these children are only in here for like half a day. And then when I was coming at it from the perspective of, I am forcing them, basically.
Yeah, that's the difference, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But like I've got to tick this box off, so on their last day before Christmas they can take it home. And it's so commonplace to have that in nurseries. Like it's been every nursery I've worked at, and it's just an organisation thing. But I really did find it took a bit of the joy out for me personally. But
yeah, it becomes a bit production line, doesn't it? Where it's just like, next child comes in, do this, and you have a list of all the children and you're ticking off which ones have done what.
we've all been there at 3:30 being like, oh no, quickly grab Charlotte. She finishes at 4 and she hasn't done her reindeer footprint, and that needs to go on the front of her Christmas card.
Yeah, definitely. And as Katie mentioned, like, Charlotte said it's kind of production liney, which is a bit, and oftentimes the children aren't even that interested, which is a bit of a tricky one. Like it's the parents or the carers and that love having these things to receive, which is why we do it. But oftentimes I wonder if there's a way to get the balance of the children enjoying it a bit more, because it definitely feels a bit overwhelming trying to get it all sorted.
I used to have certain children, like you said, Georgia, that they weren't into crafts, they weren't into painting, they weren't into, some children just didn't like it. So I would never force them, because obviously you should never force the children to do something.
Because I'm a good early years practitioner, I would never force a child to do something.
I just used to think it'd be like someone forcing me to do something I don't want to do. It's not a nice, you don't want them to like dislike Christmas time and be like, oh no, it's that time of year when they make me do things I don't want to do. So some children, I would just say to the parents, I'd be like, we have been doing some Christmas activities today, but they just weren't interested in it. They really didn't want to do it.
I told them this is a card for mummy, and they said, I hate mummy.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the parents were like, yeah, I understand, they're not into that, that's fine. So sometimes I'd just try to tweak it a little bit, so maybe it was something their interests were in there a little bit, so it might be just a little bit of something. But I remember one year someone organised doing like these, they all had their own individual like boxes, and it had to have all these different things in, and each child had to have the same amount, and there were like salt dough ornaments in there, like
this is like every nursery I've ever worked at.
And it just gets really overwhelming for the children and you as well, I think. And it's just, I think we need to take the pressure off it a little bit and just relax and offer the children these activities. But if they don't want to do it, then I was just going to say, you also have children in your setting that don't celebrate Christmas.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be inclusive and make sure that they also, they don't feel left out. So it's making it not making everything Christmassy, like also having other activities out as well for the children to take part in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with like technology and things like that, you can take photographs of the children enjoying Christmas activities, and that goes straight to the app, and parents can see, I'd rather see a child, enjoying themselves, and you can keep that photo as like a evidence that they've had a lovely time rather than something that they haven't really enjoyed sort of doing. But
that's such a good point, Georgia. That's like really nice. Yeah, like You're right. I'd rather have a picture of my child engaging in like an activity tray that was Christmas themed than to have a Christmas card come home where I know that they didn't actually do anything except maybe sit there while the hand was painted for them, and then someone else guided their hand onto a piece of paper and then wrote Happy Christmas for them and wrote to Mom Happy Christmas from baby name.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly the staff's work, isn't it? I think it would embrace technology and take a little bit of pressure off. I know it's very difficult, and that's a different question altogether, finding time to take the photos, upload the photos, etc. But
is that easier and quicker than
Yeah,
making a whole Christmas card per child?
And the final question we've had asked about Christmas is a bit of a controversial one, is does your setting open on Christmas Eve and between New Year's, and do you all work the same hours?
I was there till the bitter end. Literally the
I
bitter
was there,
end.
11:59, Christmas Eve. Wait for that one child to go home.
I was there for, well, we closed an hour earlier on Christmas Eve, but I was usually there till about 4:30, 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and then we
Were there
were.
any children?
Yeah, well, we were hospital
That's
based, weren't
true,
we?
yeah.
So they don't get Christmas off. A lot of the staff obviously still working, so we were there. We were there for them really, but yeah, and then we'd have the bank holidays off, so like Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then it was straight back into it. Normal hours, normal sort of working hours for everybody else. But yeah, so Christmas was always just kind of the same for me, apart from I got 1 or 2 days off.
And did everybody at your setting work those hours, or was it just you and a couple of others?
It ran mostly the same because we were still quite
Oh,
busy
still
around
so
the
busy.
time.
Okay.
Because there was, obviously the hospital staff still carry on as normal. So we sort of did really. I mean, sometimes we wouldn't need as many relief or bank staff in. They would get quite a lot of time off at Christmas. But the main staff who worked, it was pretty much the same really. But we were an exception, obviously, because we were on the hospital grounds.
No, but that's a really good point. Like, of course, like you're still needed because the parents are very much still actively working, still doing their shifts. The hospital doesn't just shut down.
Christmas Eve was cute because the children would be really excited for Santa to come, and we'd just be like, I remember one year we as like a little treat, we all like had hot chocolates and marshmallows and sat down and we read some Christmas stories, and we talked about how we thought Santa was going to be delivering all the presents because he has so many to deliver and things like that. So it was really cute, and they were really excited to for their Christmas Day. So it was. But the children make it magical, don't they? Because the belief is there at that age.
The settings I worked at usually finished early on Christmas Eve, like 12 or 1 o'clock. Like, do you know whenever their like AM session would end, that would be there. But Christmas Eve was always quiet, but I think it's because a lot of parents tend to book it off. So the children would show up late and then leave early. So I always found like from 12 till 2 or whatever that last couple of hours was such a drag. And honestly, because you're ready to shut down for Christmas too, is right. But I always worked that bit in between, which was always super quiet as well because most people are on annual leave. And then always worked New Year's Eve, but like nothing changed on New Year's Eve. So I'd like still finish work at 6 p.m. and then be like rushing home to go get ready and do whatever my evening plans were for New Year's. So I've not worked anywhere where they shut down either, but I would get jealous of people that did. What about you, Georgia?
Yeah, actually exactly the same. I don't know how we've all ended up in this situation. We were only closed for the bank holidays, but we were so quiet that we kind of divvied it out a bit. So I was deputy manager, so I would often work New Year's Eve and she would work Christmas Eve, and we would have the other one off.
Yeah, that's what we would do too. You try and be fair about it because it is quieter, and you do tend to know that children aren't coming in, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. We'd usually figure out how many staff we needed and ask staff, because if they wanted to not come in unpaid, it was kind of up to them, and if they wanted to come in, they could. But yeah, just trying our best to do it fairly. But yeah, we were open sort of all the way in between. Lots of nurseries around me did close for Christmas, but Yeah, we just closed for those bank holidays and tried to make it as fair as we could and as enjoyable as we could, like Charlotte said.
Because at the end of the day, the thing that we have to remember about nurseries and preschools is that they are businesses. So when they aren't open, they aren't making money. And obviously for some settings, that 1 or 2 days is a bit more financially affordable to be shut down for. But for others, like, that's make or break when you still need to be paying salaries or covering annual leave costs or whatever. So some people don't. But would you rather be a Christmas Eve worker or a New Year's Eve worker? Which would you rather work?
I always worked New Year's Eve. I love Christmas Eve. Sometimes go and visit my family and things. And usually New Year's Eve plans are in the evening, aren't they, like you said? So you can sort of rush home, get ready. And I'd rather have Christmas Eve off.
Yeah, I was always the same because I would have to travel to go see my family. So it was only like an hour and a half drive or train journey. But like it makes a difference on Christmas Eve, doesn't it? So
I'm an absolute grandma because I'm like, most of the time I'm asleep by the time the countdown's gone, and I don't really drink, so I'm not a massive like New Year's Eve person anyway. So I would have said the same as you two, like Christmas Eve. I would rather
I think most people would rather have Christmas
have that
Eve
off.
off.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of Twinkl Talks EYFS. As always, if you want to share your problems with us or just join any of our online communities, you can find us on a multitude of social media platforms, including X, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook groups, Instagram. If it is a social media platform and it exists, we're probably on it. But in the meantime, we'll speak to you again in a few weeks. Bye.
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 So that's it for today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you would like to join in or would like to know more, then come and find us on our social media sites. We have a Facebook page, Facebook groups, an Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. All the links of where to find us will be in our podcast description. Come and join the conversation. And whatever you're doing today, I hope you have a great day.